Hello everyone, this is Lisa Andrus, Psychic Medium, and this is your weekly reading for July 28th through August 2nd, 2014. And as you can see, this week I'm using the Angel Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. Every week when I choose my deck, I just go as I feel guided. Sometimes I get the thought before I do the reading, or sometimes I just look at my shelf where I have all my oracle cards and go to the one that my eye feels drawn to, and this week it was Angel Tarot. So I have pre-shuffled the cards, and this week, as you can see, we have 4 cards. Sometimes that's been happening. I just do it again when I feel guided, which is no big voice says it in my head, so to speak. It's just an intuition. I follow my intuition, and I felt like there was supposed to be a 4th card this week that is our overlying theme for the week. So let's see what we have. This is your Monday, Tuesday card, and it is 5 of Water, and it says, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilt milk. The first thing I hear as I see this, or I'm feeling, is that you can't have what you want until you get over the past. And I think a lot of us, I know that, being a human just like everybody else, sometimes I think of the things in the past and I even wonder to myself, why am I focusing on the bad that happened? Why am I not focusing on the good that's happened in my life? Or appreciating the present, or worrying about the future, which I tend to do quite a bit. But what they're saying right now is things that have happened in the past are getting in our way. Our hurts of the past are getting in our way. And what they're meaning by things not turning out the way you planned, okay, first they want me to say to you, it's never going to be as bad as it was. I've said this before, but a lot of us have had a rough few last years. Those of us that are spiritual teachers in the group here, raise your hand, okay? We are the ones that have had the rug pulled out from under us at one or maybe more than one point in our lives. But what they're saying is you're crossing into a new space. And you have to understand that if you're not getting exactly what you wanted, they want me to tell you that I moved into my boyfriend's house about a year ago. And it is a house that I didn't pick, that he picked with his former wife. And it's not the neighborhood I would have picked. And so I moved out of a neighborhood that I was really very comfortable in to a neighborhood that I'm not as familiar with and don't feel my energy fits in as well. But I have to trust that I'm here for a reason and make peace with this until we're able to, both able and both ready to move to a new location. Now, I hoped that would be yesterday, but it might be 1 year or a couple years or 3 years. And sometimes we're getting in our own way when we're trying to control things. And let me tell you how much I obsess about this, okay? And in doing so, I'm getting in my own way. And I've been getting that message loud and clear lately. And I just kind of have to sigh and let go and let God, which I realize, just like the rest of you, that is easier said than done. So they want me to read the bottom of this card again, and it said, not seeing the positive in the situation and crying over spilt milk. You just have to make peace with where you are and realize the good things that you have. And, for me, I realize the good things and the things that I feel that are beautiful in the house that I live in now, in the neighborhood that I live now. There's lots more, shopping and other things that maybe I didn't have in the last one that I lived in. So, especially for those of you that are in living spaces like the one I've mentioned, or transitional living spaces, like I know that I moved back here when I moved back here from the East Coast, moved back home to Minnesota. I was in my mother's house for 6 months. And as a woman in my, at the time I was 38, and it was really uncomfortable to live in my mom's house. It was wonderful in a lot of ways, but it was like, I felt like I was fighting against the current and wanting my own space again. And, you know, when it was over and I finally got into my own space again, I kind of took inventory of the past and realized it wasn't as bad as I thought it had been. And so what they're saying is to try to appreciate the good in what you have right now. If it's transitional living, say for whatever reason you lost your last house or something like that happened, maybe if you're in a place you have now, it allows you to kind of clear that space and to get back on your feet, because maybe you're not trying to pay a mortgage you couldn't pay, or try to pay for something you couldn't pay. And even though things might have happened, you might have had to clear some things that you didn't want to clear, or get rid of some of your belongings. I know I left a lot of mine on the curb in Boston, and I didn't want to, but I believe that when we get rid of some of our physical belongings and physical things that hold us back, we clear the energy for something new, even if it's uncomfortable at the time. So they're saying whatever you're going through now, if it's not turning out the way you planned, if you want your spiritual business and it's not turning out the way you planned, and I just get the image in my head of like stomping your foot, that you're frustrated that it's not happening like you want. Part of it is because we're thinking about all the negative and crying over the spilt milk, so to speak, which it says on this card. You have to have faith that there's a reason for it, and sometimes in blocking our progress in things, it's preventing us from something that would be worse for us, or helping us manifest what we want, okay? I'm going to go to the middle of the week here, which is the Two of Water. And it says, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So again, these two seem to me to fit together, and the Suit of Water says to me, water to me is always, and I think, you know, it's always about emotion and clearing up emotional stuff. So Monday, Tuesday says not to cry over that emotional stuff, and Wednesday, Thursday says it's clearing. And especially for those of you in a relationship, whether it's an existing relationship or you know, you feel like there have been bumps or disagreements or a lack of closeness and you were growing apart, it says that you are going to grow closer and things are going to get better. There'll be forgiveness. I actually hear too, if there are those of you, it says the positive resolution of a conflict, and that means also legal matters that resolve either in your favor or in a way that you can live with. Okay, moving on to the weekend here. It says the Knight of Fire, passionate, adventurous, self-assured, restless. That is if it's a person. And it says a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. Now, the Knight of Fire to me says action. Fire is a suit that, you know, moves things forward. And maybe you will have something that you have to pay attention to. Maybe it's, you know, if you're trying for a new job or something like that, you'll be offered a couple and have to make a decision at the snap of a fingers. That's what I'm feeling right now. Or maybe in the matter of a house, you will have to decide whether or not to sell the house and move on, or if you've been thinking of a long distance move, make a sudden decision because there's something aligned that requires your attention. I do not feel that it's all bad. I'm feeling like these cards this week are a little bit challenging, but they're encouraging us to see the positive side of things, that really this is saying progress, even if it's not the exact progress we were expecting. And I feel like by the weekend, it's going to feel like after all the emotional stuff of the beginning of the week, it's going to feel like things are moving forward. Now, the Knight can literally be a person that comes along to help you. And they want me to say, too, that for some of you that are single and looking for love, it could literally represent a person who's passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. Okay? Okay, so here's our card that is the overlying theme of the week, and it's the Ten of Air. And I'm sorry, it seems to be a little dark, but I'm going to try to just move it into the sun a little bit so you can see. And it says, the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change. and expect things to get better now. Recovering from addiction. So, well, nope, I'll just leave it here where it's light. So this does not surprise me at all that this is our overlying theme of the week, because I feel like what this week has said to us is that it's all about emotion and things moving forward, even if it's not the way that we expect. But didn't they say at the beginning of the week, it's not going to get worse? It might feel like it has some challenging moments right now, but when you think back to those times in the past few years where things have been really bad, it's not quite that bad. I think it just means that when we have challenges now, the emotional part of us that was better apt to deal with it in the past, I think because of all of the challenges of the last few years, it's almost like we're more sensitive to it. You know, we want things to go our way, but I'm hearing in my head that life is a journey, and we have to remember that life is a journey. If you get to the place where all the dream comes true, then what? And it doesn't mean we're not worthy of our dreams. It just means that we have some things that we have to do to get there. For some of you that have been trying to improve some of your eating habits, or quit smoking, or quit drinking, or whatever it is, it's saying it's the recovering from that. Maybe it is a literal, going into official recovery, or maybe it's just that you're trying to eliminate some of that behavior. But in doing that, you're going to clear energy for the good things of the future. So, this card and this week is just saying embrace the change and kind of ride the wave. One of my favorite spiritual teachers is Abraham Hicks. And in talking about being in the vortex where the things that you want lie, they often say that, you just have to go with the flow and get into the vortex, because this is the second time I've said this in this reading, but when you fight the current, it's going to be more difficult. So if you just go with the flow and embrace the change, and it doesn't mean it's not going to have its moments, things will all work out. They want me to tell you that it really is getting better, and while life gets heavy, sometimes you just need to take some time away from it. Yesterday I finally had my day where I got to ride roller coasters. I love roller coasters. I don't know what it is. I actually said to my boyfriend at one point, after we had been on a favorite roller coaster of mine, that, I just felt humbled. And to me, one of the reasons I said it's proof that God exists, because it's something that I enjoy, and not everybody would enjoy that, but I do, and thankfully he does too. And it's not often that we take times for ourselves to have fun like that. For those of you that are familiar with the realms of the earth angels, my realm is Atlantean, and that means I'm part wise one, which means I'm serious a lot. I don't have any elemental in me, and so it's hard for me to get out there and play. But I have to say, it's like we both were in that position, like, oh, okay, maybe we'll stay home. But we went, and we both admitted we were really happy once we got there. And we just rode roller coasters mostly, and some other things, and just got in touch with our inner child and let ourselves have fun for that day. And so even when life presents you with challenges, it's the great way to get your mind off of what you're doing and just have fun. Because when we sit there and we worry and we obsess, I don't feel like it gets our energy off of our problems, so what we want can manifest. When we just forget, we have some fun, go get a massage, have a pedicure, do some self-care. And I know it's not always easy, but they're saying that when you feel guided to do it and you get those repetitive feelings, which I had been feeling like going to that amusement park for over a year, and I put it off for over a year, but we finally went and it felt good. So doing things like that sometimes allows what you want to manifest. Hang in there. It's going to be a good week, even if there's some change and some emotions that we have to get through. But we're all in this together. I want to thank you all for being on Earth with me. And thank you for tuning in to my weekly reading. I love you all. Have a good week.